Okay, my name is Otten Sweeney, and what we're going to be talking about for the next 30 minutes or so is recruiting and the interview. So, first off, what I want to do is define the purpose of an interview, what it is, and also what it is not. An interview is something you do with someone that you'd like to recruit, someone that you'd like to have on your team, and someone you'd like to work with, and someone that you'd like to be representing Mary Kay Cosmetics out there with you. An interview is something that can take many forms. So honestly, in my 21-year career, I've found interviewing and recruiting to be a more difficult skill to transfer to people than selling. For one thing, when you're selling the product, you're working with a tangible item. So people can see it, they can feel it. So really, even brand new consultants, and some of you guys are, brand new, even when you aren't very experienced with your presentation, or you're unskilled with finding out what a customer's needs are, when people get the products on their face, it pretty much does that for you. So you have sales even when you're not very skilled at defining the needs. As you perfect your skincare class skills, you get better at pre-profiling and coaching, so you have more classes hold, and you get better serving needs at your appointments, so your sales increase, as does your confidence. But in recruiting, even though we're doing the same basic thing, we're educating about possible needs. Just like in skincare, we educate about possible needs. In recruiting, we're educating about possible needs, like income or flexibility or a support system or savings on products, security, hope. I think that's probably one of the most important things that we sell right now in Mary Kay. And then you're matching their needs with our opportunity. But because it's an intangible product, it's all done through communication. So that becomes a little bit more difficult to transfer to other people. And just like selling happens in different forums. We sell at classes, at facials, at events, in reorders, holiday sales, standing in line at the bank, going to your nail tech, being at the dentist, on-the-go appointments. You sell in lots of different forums. Recruiting also happens in different forums. It happens at the class. It happens at Mary Kay events. It happens in conversation in life. It happens when you specifically ask someone to sit down or get on the phone to do an interview. The in-person ones are always the best. Just like selling in person is more effective than doing it just online. Once they've tried it in person, then ordering online is fine, but that's just like recruiting in person and then them continuing to be trained online. But, I've often heard consultants, is at like a class and someone says, I want to sign up. And the reason I'm sharing with you that recruiting and interviews happen in different forums just like selling do, I know that if you were standing in the bank line and someone said, I need to order blank, 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 and you've already confirmed that she doesn't have a consultant, so you're not taking anyone's customer, you'd follow up with that sale. You wouldn't call me and say, okay, someone wants to buy something. What do I need to do? Whereas recruiting, sometimes we think that it has to look a certain way, or an interview has to, be just sitting down with your director or a conversation with your director to count as an interview. And so I've had consultants, have someone say they want to do it and they're ready to buy a case. And they say, okay, well, let's do our interview. If she's ready to buy a showcase, she doesn't need an interview. She needs training materials. And so you get the information on an agreement and you order her a showcase, and then we're training her because the questions she has then are training questions. If she has questions to be able to order the showcase, then we still need to do some interviewing and recruiting. So I wanted to plant that seed so that, we are working, from the same place. That selling happens in different places and recruiting happens in different places. What I want to do now is I want to differentiate for you the difference between marketing and recruiting. Marketing is giving out information to create an interest or educate. So for instance, at your appointments, you do the 4-point recruiting plan. Part of that is your I-story, your Cracker Jack I-story. Or, at your appointments, possibly you do the marketing plan. Also at events where career path information is given. That's marketing information that's given out to create an interest or educate. The live marketing calls we do, or the marketing hotline that people can dial in and listen to. What do you have to lose CDs? The company recruiting CD or DVD. All these are tools, but they're marketing tools. None of those qualify as recruiting or qualify as an interview unless you ask closing questions. When closing questions have been asked and you have made sure that you have addressed the real issues, and you have to ask a lot of questions to find out what the real issues are, because people may say, I don't have time, when they really mean, I'm scared that I won't find customers. So the skill that helps you get to the real issues is commonly referred to as overcoming objections. And that's going to be on another training call and recorded on another training CD. But what I want to narrow in on here in this training is the conversation that's necessary to qualify something as an interview. And here's something to think about. In selling, you hear the term full circle selling. That's the term we commonly use. I want you to apply that to recruiting. Full circle selling means that you not only, present the products, but you are closing the sale and you're rebooking and you're getting referrals. In recruiting, there's also a full circle recruiting situation that people, get information. They then, you ask questions in an interviewing type situation, you are overcoming objections, and then there's either a follow-up appointment that's necessary because more information was needed, more layering, or, whatever the objection, was, you didn't know how to overcome it, or you need to do some coaching with your director to get back together with that person, but a follow-up, appointment is set up. Something I want you to think about. Would you hold a skincare class and then not tell them the cost, or do an individual close? Just you do the class and you walk away. You don't tell them how it comes, and you don't do an individual close with the people. And some of you, again, are new, and so you may say, oh yeah, I've done that. I don't do an individual close yet. I have done classes and not, closed the class out. If you've answered yes to this, though, I would love to have you listen to my classic closing CD and the increasing skincare sales CD that I just made a couple months ago. And all the directors in our area have a copy of that, so they can get you a copy of it. Because if you're not doing a table, like a group close, and an individual close, you're not selling full circle. And you're not maximizing your time, nor being an excellent steward of your time. And basically, you're a professional presenter. Which, there's nothing wrong with that, but professional presenters make a lot less than those who have really mastered asking questions, providing options, and meeting needs. One of the reasons that I really wanted to do this training is that I'm seeing a lot of people provide marketing information, but it's not being taken full circle so that it can be considered full circle recruiting. So what I want to do now is teach you how to move from sharing marketing information to recruiting. Because recruiting is a verb, it's an action word, whereas sharing marketing information is passive. So, don't get me wrong, it's a good start. I think we probably all start in sharing marketing information. just like we start passing out samples or, doing a facial and not really closing it, those are all good starts. I mean, that's how we start to get comfortable doing a full circle skincare class. But eventually, everyone wants to get to maximum results. So they learn to close the skincare sales. That becomes important. With recruiting, getting guests to events or to listen to information or to hear marketing information at a selling appointment, those are all a good start. Starting to do the 4-point recruiting plan at all of your selling appointments, going to all your meetings with guests, getting people, on a regular basis to listen to the marketing hotline or CDs or DVDs. That is an awesome start. Some will even recruit in the process of this. Just like some sell. Even when you don't close the class, you'll have people buy stuff. Even when you don't close out the recruiting appointment, you still have people that will sign up. But you're not getting the maximum results. And what I start to see is that when people don't get the desired results that they want with recruiting, for some reason they have more maybe ability to withstand learning full circle selling with products. I'm not sure. Well, you know what, I am sure. Because even if you don't sell as much products as you want, you usually sell something. And so there's still some cash flow. There's still some results from the effort. Whereas in recruiting, it's like yes or no. They either do it or they don't. And in recruiting, 1 out of 5 sign up. So you have 4 who it's no. It's not like you're not like a little recruit. It's just like you're not a little pregnant. You're either pregnant or not. You're either a recruit or not. So with selling, but they may just buy a lipstick, but that's not a skincare set, but it's still, you still made $650. So with recruiting, what I find is that consultants will start to believe that they can't recruit or they lose their desire to recruit because they think they're not good at it. Where the fact of the matter is that it's not that they're not good at recruiting. They're very good at marketing. They just are not recruiting. They're not doing recruiting as a verb. They're just marketing. And so, what I'm seeing is that you probably have to market 25 people to get 1 recruit. It may even be more than that. But if you just invite 25 people just to come to meetings, listen to a hotline, listen to interviews and events to get 1 person to say, oh, okay, I'll do it. Their questions were answered even though we didn't zero in on what their needs were. 1 out of 25 versus interviewing and recruiting 1 out of 5 is the company average. So, you want to ask yourself, which is better for you, 1 out of 25 or 1 out of 5? To me, emotionally, it's a lot easier to stay motivated and excited about sharing the opportunity with 1 out of 5. The main consideration that prompted me to get this information taped and duplicated so that more people in my area can understand this is that, 1 out of 25 is nice because 1 woman out of 25's life gets to be enriched. But if the company average is 1 out of 5, that means that there's 4 other women that have been missed. Because 4 out of that remaining 24, if they were interviewed versus marketed, would probably be in the company. 4 women's lives are not being enriched in that scenario because we did not maybe do our job. And so, it's one thing, for us not to be in our red jacket or our car or directorship, but at least you have this as a vehicle. The 4 who did not have the option because they weren't really interviewed, they were marketed, they don't have the option that Mary Kay gives to make more money and the flexibility and the security and the fun and the support and the hope. And that right there is enough for me to get really passionate about transferring this information to you so that we're not missing those 4 women any longer. Because it scares me to think, where my life would be if I had not been recruited. And I was recruited. I look back, I was not marketed. I went to a guest event. I was marketed in a mall. Then I had a facial and fell in love with the products. Then came to an event. I loved the product. I loved the event. I loved the people. I needed all that Mary Kay had to offer. but I did not have the $100. I was shy, and I was scared. And if Debbie Moore had not spent time at the end of that event recruiting me, I would have walked out of that event not as a consultant, and that could possibly have changed a lot of lives listening to this right now, and mine literally for eternity. So what qualifies a conversation as recruiting or an interview versus marketing? And this is recorded, so you can re-listen to this if you don't get it written down. What qualifies a conversation as recruiting or an interview versus marketing? 1, lots of questions asked. 2, interactive communication. 3, a perceived need pinpointed. I mean, people can have needs, but if they don't perceive that they have a need, then it doesn't matter. We can't fill a need that they don't perceive they have. You can look at someone's life and go, oh my gosh, she's got this need, but if she doesn't perceive it as a need, it doesn't matter. It's like a non-entity. You can't fill that need if she hasn't perceived that she has it. So a perceived need pinpointed. 4, the marketing plan customized or tailored to that person's needs. 5, an offer to order a showcase. 6, a follow-up plan. Okay, let's pull this apart. First, lots of questions. Lots of questions asked. If you don't ask questions, it means you're solely delivering information, and that's marketing. When you ask questions, it becomes interactive and proactive, and you start to get to know who you're talking to, what needs she may have, and then you can give her the info she needs to make a decision if this is something she's willing to try to fill those needs. I'm going to give you a list of questions I commonly use in a couple minutes in an interview, depending on the situation. Obviously, if she's already been to a Mary Kay event, or you're talking to her at the end of a meeting, or she's listened to a CD or a marketing hotline, you may be able to jump down the line in questions. I'm giving you the questions like from start to finish if I was sitting down interviewing someone. I'm also going to explain to you why I'm asking some of the questions, because I mastered selling skincare at a class by having to overcome a lot of objections at classes that I didn't like to overcome. I get really sick at skincare classes of saying, I just use soap. And so I learned how to educate about the difference between soap and cleanser at a class. I get really tired of, telling them they couldn't break up the basic skincare, overcoming that objection at the end, at an individual consultation. So I learned how to, share with them why we don't break up the basic and why it's meant to work together like a recipe. All those things are shared on my Selling Skincare and my classic closing CD. Because I could go on like an hour onto that. But I learned to overcome those objections before they happened. So it's the same thing I've learned to do with recruiting. I learned to overcome the objections before by the questions that I'm asking and the information that I'm getting prior to going into the overcoming objection stage of an interview. To me, this is how I look at recruiting, and this may help you because I love to recruit. It is so fun. Selling the products I love, but honestly, in the beginning of your business, you think it's challenging to sell the products. You're going to get to a point where it's brainless to sell the products. Really, the products change, but it's so easy because the products just sell themselves. And so once you figure out what people's needs are and you fill the needs, you have hundreds of dollars worth of sales to people. The challenge is gone with it, and it's still fun. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing the transformation in front of a mirror, and I love sitting down with a facial and walking away with $100 cash profit. That's exciting still to me after 21 years. But with recruiting, it continues to be challenging. Really, I look at it as a game. First off, I go into every situation believing that my path has crossed with this other person for a reason. I believe that. How many people are on this planet? Our paths cross for a reason. What is it? I want to figure that out while I'm talking to her, or start to see a glimmer of it. Second, I also believe that Mary Kay can serve any woman, but not every woman is going to allow Mary Kay to serve her. Third, I don't believe there's any better opportunity on this planet. I've built this business for 21 years. I've built it from 23 years old till I turn 25, the 19th of this month. So I've built it through different seasons of life in three major different parts of the country, the Midwest, the Southwest on the border, and a southeastern resort Gulf Island. I can honestly say that there is no better opportunity. And the time has never been better to build a Mary Kay business than it is right now. So when I'm going into an interview with someone or recruiting someone, that's where I'm coming from. If you're not coming from that place, I would encourage you to come from that place, to get to that place, because that has served me very well and has helped me impact thousands of lives over the years. So, that's the mindset. If, I may have asked this person to come to an event, or I picked her out of a class to share business information with her, because the 4-point recruiting plan, you're picking 1 or 2 people to share information with, or maybe I'm interviewing her to teach my consultants how to recruit. But I want to know how this could serve her. So, I want to customize, I want to ask enough questions so that I can customize the information that I'm going to share with her personally. So, just like at a class, if she told me she had oily, acne-prone skin in the pre-profiling conversation, I would not be really sharing a lot with her about all the products for dry skin at her facial. I wouldn't talk to her about those at all. The same with recruiting. If first I'm coming from the mindset that I just shared with you, but then next I got to find out where she's coming from so that I can give her the information that serves her needs. Our job is not to tell her everything possible about Mary Kay that you've ever heard. I've had some people share with me that they feel that is disclosing information, not giving all the information. But just like you don't tell everything about, when you sit down to do an interview, if someone's talking about doing this to make a little bit of extra money, I'm not sure that they need to know the ins and outs of the family security program and qualifications to be a sales director and about going to seminar and fall retreat and, all the different inventory options and meetings, etc. Some people have shared with me they think it's deceitful in some way that they're not sharing every single thing. But, I'm hoping that if you've had those thoughts, I hope the analogy of sharing information, only about the products that serve her needs help you rest at ease. Because the Mary Kay opportunity has many products too. For instance, savings on products, extra income, full-time pay, leadership, car programs, recognition, personal growth, challenge. Those are all different products that can serve different people that are part of the benefits of our marketing plan. Mary Kay Corporate pays you to customize the product line to your customers and the opportunity to the prospects. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't answer their questions. You don't say, okay, I can't answer that because it doesn't apply to, why you want to do this. Because sometimes people just say, I want to do this to get my products at cost, and it's kind of a way to ease their way in. Really what they're saying is, I'd love to be a sales director, but I'm not really sure if I could do that. What if it didn't work? So personal use is safer. So answer their questions, but I am suggesting that you fill the needs based on the needs that she's expressed to you. Once she's a consultant, she's going to decide how much more information she wants to take in. Your job at the interview is to fill the need that she has now. To fill the information need that she has now. Your job is to sell the showcase. And in training, the director's job is to fill the needs as she perceives them, as she is then pursuing the different steps that are necessary to get, her business launched. A word of caution in the beginning stages of recruiting, I think we all assume that everyone processes information as we do. So for instance, I start this business. I decided the night to buy my showcase, to be in a showcase drawing, didn't win it, but then, next morning woke up scared to death, but still pursued it. Just decided to walk it out because the benefits were important enough to me. So I've loved from the very beginning the idea of directorship. I love the six-figure income idea. I love the trips, the cars, the whole thing. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Loved it. So I assumed everyone wanted to be a sales director. Really. I just came from this place that why wouldn't everyone want to be a sales director? I know I lost a lot of potential recruits because in the first couple years of my business, I talked about everything, like about sales directorship and doing this full time. That's what I talked about. And not everyone wants to do this full time from the beginning. I lost people like maybe Linda Barrick, who started this to get her things at cost. Thank goodness I had learned this lesson, by the time I had recruited some of you that are, listening to this. Because that scares me to think, what if I wouldn't have figured this out? There's some of you that start this to get things at cost, and even though someone saw far more in you than that, she luckily bit her tongue and didn't overwhelm you or scare you and let you do that, so that she created space for you to move forward, but only as much space as you wanted to walk into at that point in time. So, I remember doing an interview with a woman and, just assuming, she was very successful in real estate, and so I assumed that she'd be interested in doing this for the six-figure income and the trips and the cars and the jewelry. And I remember sitting there going through all the marketing plan, because if you go through the whole marketing plan, you could talk at someone for a full hour, really. And at the end, I'd say, what interested you most? And she said, well, honestly, at this stage of my life, I don't, money is not a need. She goes, I want to do something to impact people's lives. So, I think this is great for people that need to make money, but, I'm at a different season of my life. I remember sitting there going, oh, I totally messed that one up. I'd already talked to her for an hour. I'd scheduled an hour appointment with her. That was a turning point. After that, I decided, you know what? Like Mary Kay always said, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I'm going to start asking questions and listening a lot more from the very beginning, because Mary Kay really is not paying any of us to sell our opportunity. What we're doing with Mary Kay, she's paying us to sell Mary Kay's opportunity, and that's for how that can meet that woman's needs at that season of her life. So, for those of you who do this real part-time, I've had consultants share, well, I don't think I can recruit someone because, she's super successful in corporate America, and, if she did this, she'd want to do it full-time, so how could I recruit her? You're not selling what you're choosing to do with your Mary Kay business right now, just like I'm not selling what I'm choosing to do. I have to figure out what that woman's needs are and meet those just like you do. That's what Mary Kay pays us to do. So here are the basics. When you're asking questions and getting feedback, you're going to think of more questions. So one question tends to lead to another one, because you start to uncover what her, needs are and, how this could fill a void for her. But these are the basic questions. If I was going to sit down and talk to someone, or after they were at an event, or after they listened to a piece of marketing information, this is recruiting. This is how you do an interview. First question I would ask, and again, depending on if they're just sitting down and have heard no information, or if they've already, been to something, you may be skipping down the list. But let's start from the beginning. First question, what has been your experience with Mary Kay products? I want to know. Has she used Mary Kay before? Does she have a good impression, bad impression? I want to know what her experience has been. Does she love them? If people love the products, it's so easy to recruit them, because, getting their stuff at cost and them sharing it with their friends is just natural. So what has been your experience with Mary Kay products? 2, have you ever heard how we make our money? I want to know what she knows, because then I know what information I don't need to tell her. That helps to keep things really efficient. I want as much time as possible to overcome objections and help her customize this for her. So I also want to know if she knows misinformation. People have heard some crazy stuff that's not true at all. 3, tell me about yourself. This is really revealing. When you ask someone, tell me about yourself, It's very helpful if you haven't done any training on the DISC, personality traits. There's some online, a Mary Kay Learn MK that you can do. But if you know DISC, everyone has some of all that in their personality, but generally there's one or two that are stronger. And so, depending on what you're strongest in, when people, if you say, tell me about yourself, if they start telling you about their accomplishments, I know when I was recruited, I just got done with the University of Michigan. I was just hired in this training program that was the best in the country. I mean, that's a D answer all over it. And what do you want to know? And an I wants to talk, they're relational, they're people-oriented. They'll talk forever. They love that. S, they'll probably say, okay, well, I have 2 kids and I've been married for this many years. They'll tell you about their family first before they'll really get to themselves usually. C's may ask you, why do you want to know? What do you want to know? I mean, they're real detail-oriented people. And that's just giving you, again, a very broad oversight into some training that, you can invest lots of time into. But if you have an opportunity to, really go through a DISC workshop yourself, I highly recommend it because that helped me in my recruiting skills dramatically. First off, to understand how I processed information and then how other women did. Because when you understand, why people make decisions, how they do, it helps you be more effective at your classes and in recruiting. For instance, D's and I's are more impulsive, and so in recruiting situations, you want to expect and ask them to make decisions on the spot. If you don't with a D, you could lose her respect, or she's going to think you're not serious or not professional, and I could be off on the next bunny trail the next day. Whereas an S and C very infrequently are going to make a decision impulsively on the spot if they've, it's not part of a layering process. And so I used to get frustrated with that, thinking I didn't do a good job, whereas now I realize, it doesn't matter how good of a job I did, if that's how she's wired, she's not going to make a decision that night. She's not going to be the person, an S or C is not going to run up to the front at a guest event unless she's been layered before. But knowing that helps you have a more well-rounded, realistic view of everything. So, tell me about yourself. 4, if you could change any one thing in your life right now, what would it be? That'll help you, listen, what are our needs right now? 5, I will share, this is why I'm building my business. Share with her, what are your goals? What are you working on? People want to be part of a team. What I'm hearing, we heard, earlier on this call is that, these women who are part of teams that have just earned cars and are earning cars and becoming sales directors, they're excited about that. They re-signed or they signed up or they're getting going in their business because of that. It's good to let people know that you have a goal and you're going somewhere, that this is about something, that they're going to be part of a winning team, they're going to be following a car that's not parked. So, share with them, why are you building your business? I wish I would have earlier in my business shared with people that I was building a car team or building a unit or building a national area. I'm very clear now to tell people I am, building 20 new sales directors in the next 3 years, 20 new first-line directors in the next 3 years. We will have an inner circle national area in that time frame. 6, this is how our marketing plan works. So now I'm going to tell her, this is how the marketing plan works. So I'm going to share with you guys how our marketing plan works, just like I would if I was sharing this with you on the phone or in person. Everyone starts with a $100 showcase. You get all your training materials and sample products, plus over $300 of retail product. You get 2 full-size Time-Wise skincare systems, day-night solution, mascara. What we can do is take your information and go online with that and order it with a MasterCard, Visa, Discover, or debit card. So everyone starts with a $100 showcase, and then what you choose to do with that is up to you. You have no quotas and no territories. We make our money from selling products and team building. Selling products, we make a 50% profit margin. You buy for $1, sell for $2. It is not a multi-level company. Everyone buys their products directly from Mary Kay and sells at retail. It does not filter through levels of people. You can sell your products in lots of different ways. For instance, at classes, that's where you have 3 to 6 people trying the products at one time. On the national average, you'll sell approximately $250 in products. You make about $125 in your 2 hours. Facials, where you have 1 or 2 people, you'll probably sell about $75. Again, you make 50% profit. Reorders, people are washing the products down the drain every night. A nice goal for a new consultant doing this very part-time is to establish 100 basic skincare customers. 100 customers, that means you've established 2 a week. A basic skincare customer orders at least $150 a year. If you have 100 women ordering 150 from you a year, that's $15,000 in retail sales. You profit $7,500 your second year from investing 2 hours a week into your business to establish 2 new skincare customers. A website you can get from the company for $25 a year as a new consultant. That's a great way to maintain your business and add new business. You can sell through sampling products. Also, too, you get half off on all your personal product needs and gifts. You know, we're in a holiday time now, so gosh, that's a huge savings right now. You are taught how to get your customers, how to manage your time. You're taught money management, product knowledge, and application, you know, and how to take advantage of tax deductions. All those things you're taught. As far as team building, so you make money from selling the product and from team building. Team building, the company pays you 4 to 13%. Whatever, you know, your team members order from the company, once a month you get a love check. It's pink with hearts on it, and the bank cashes it beautifully. The 4 to 13% varies depending on how many people are on your team and how active you are. That comes directly from Mary Kay. It does not come, again, out of, you know, your recruits or your directors. Let's just say that you're working approximately 10 hours a week in your Mary Kay business, holding about 3 skincare classes. At that level, you're probably going to earn a car. The first car you can earn is the Vibe or the V6. Now, of course, you could work 10 hours organizing your inventory, but if you're working 10 hours in income-producing activities, holding 3 skincare classes a week, within a 4-month time period, you'll usually be doing the activity to earn a Vibe or a V6. You can either take the car, and approximately 85% of your insurance is paid for, or $375 in cash. A leadership position for women who want to teach people how to build Mary Kay businesses. They're called sales directors. They have at least 30 people that they're teaching how to build units. They're averaging about $42,000 their first year, and from my experience, that's directors working about 20 hours a week. At that level, you can earn the View or the Aura, or take $500 a month cash. If you're willing to invest 30 to 40 hours a week, you could probably be driving one of the prestigious pink Cadillacs. You're probably making $60,000 to $75,000 plus a year, or you could take $900 cash for your car. At all these levels, you get quarterly prizes, yearly prizes, and they can vary from a purse to a 4-carat diamond ring and all expense-paid trips around the world. A national sales director is the top level of leadership. That is the position Mary Kay created so that when she was gone, this company could stay based on God first, family second, and career third. And as a national sales director, they get free cars every 2 years of their choice. The pink Escalade and the XLR were just added on. All expense-paid trips for them and their husband every year, and the family security program. And what's so great about that is that you could come into Mary Kay right now, and we just had a woman 3 years and 6 months from the day that she signed her agreement, became a national sales director, because she came in to become a national sales director, to have the family security program, so if anything happens to her or when she turns 65, the company pays her approximately 65% of what she's averaged over the last 5 years for the next 15 years. You know, that's pretty incredible. That's totally company sponsored, and we work in an industry that is not affected adversely by the economy. Alcohol, tobacco, and cosmetics are recession-proof in our country. And all of that, all that opportunity comes in your $100 showcase with free training and support and a 90% buyback policy. If you choose to get out of Mary Kay, what the company will do is they will look at your last 12 months and offer you a 90% buyback on what you've bought from the company. So, you know, that is a pretty incredible opportunity for $100. Now, this is the 7th question. After hearing all that, what was not answered that you'd need to know if this is something you wanted to make a decision about? So after hearing all that, what was not answered that you'd need to know if this is something you wanted to make a decision about? So you answer whatever questions she has. Then 8, of what you just heard, what is the most appealing to you right now? So from what you've just heard, what is most appealing to you right now? And then 9, what would hold you back from ordering your showcase today? So she's going to either say nothing, and then you say, great, let's order a showcase. And then you give her a training packet. That means you have to have training packets on hand. Or if you're on the phone with her, you can take her to our UnitNet site, go under New Consultant, and print off a training pack. B, she has no interest at all. You get referrals from her then. Who do you know that this could benefit? And after you ask for referrals, if there's no interest and it's going nowhere else, I would say, you know what, you are the type of woman, as long as this is true. If it's not true, don't say it. But if it's true, say you're the type of woman that I'd like to work with, Lisa. And so if anything changes in your life or how you are feeling about things right now, will you promise me that you'll call me? I want to be the person that, brings you into this business and gets to mentor you and work with you. You guys, I think that's really important to say when they say no, because then you're not planting a seed that someone else is going to harvest down the line. And, when things do change, that conversation may click in their memory. Jamie Cruz-Vrinios, who's a Diamond Circle National and Emerald, she went to an event, did not decide to do the business, but then, life and work situations changed, and she remembered that recruiter saying, if anything changes, please call me. And that is who she called, and thank goodness, because of the life she's impacted. Or the third thing that could happen is she's going to have some questions or objections. And so in the next training call on recruiting, I'm going to role play answering questions and concerns. We had to pull this apart because it's too long for one training session. But if she has questions or concerns that you feel you didn't answer, you want to set up a specified time that you're going to follow up with her to re-answer those questions or concerns, or to get an answer. You may need to have given her some more information, a CD or some marketing, because maybe she didn't have marketing information prior. And this is probably where you need to get some coaching. So you call your director and say, okay, this is what happened, so that either she can be on that phone call or she can coach you through the Overcoming Objections phone call. Here in this training, I want to make sure that you can differentiate between marketing and recruiting, so that we can then get to the point of needing the closing skills versus us just educating them and letting them go. Some materials that you need in recruiting and interviewing to be most effective. And this means you need to have them handy at your meetings, classes, selling appointments, and also in your car. Keep a little car box that has brochures, sales tickets, some foil packs of stuff, as long as it's not too hot or cold, and some recruiting information. Have this stuff with you so that, if you're at a hockey game with your son and you have this a conversation, these questions could be things that you're conversationally going through with the lady in the stands at your kid's game, and at the end, you have an agreement out in the car or more information for her to look at versus having to get back together with her. This is great use of your time and hers. But in there you need agreements. You may want some CDs, like the What Do You Have to Lose CD, that is me explaining the marketing plan, or the company CD, or Debbie Moore's lifestyle CD, or choices, a DVD possibly, the marketing hotline number. Give her a choice. It's not your choice. What's her choice? Is it easier for her to listen to a CD or a DVD or a phone call? Ask her which is easier for her. Also, 2, company recruiting information, like the one on Section 2 of the order form. You can get the career path information and recruiting information from the company. A training pack and a Mary Kay pin. So if someone does sign up, you can just give that to her. And then if someone signs up, you have her listen to the orientation and next step CD and call your director within 24 hours. Some people have recruiting packets with all this information pre-made up, just like you'd have hostess packets. But as you can see, recruiting and interviewing, it's a skill that you master by doing it. And getting coached in between the activity. So just like I suggest, you continue to go to skincare classes that directors hold for training and watching the company's DVD and then listening to CDs in between your classes and selling appointments. With recruiting, you hold a perfect start of interviews. It's 15 interviewing, some with your director, some on your own. Then you listen to CDs, you do more on your own and more with your director. And the ones that you do on your own, you get coaching after each one, because practice does not make perfect. It makes permanent, and we want to make sure that you have permanent skills that make sure that the no's that we get are not because of us, but because it's all in the numbers. And you guys, I really look forward to hearing about the lives impacted because of your renewed focus on sharing this incredible opportunity. There are some other training CDs that complement this, because Full Circle Recruiting is part of, first, new consultants booking and recruiting, which in that CD I cover the 4-point recruiting plan. Overcoming objections is going to be a CD. Explaining inventory will be a CD. Classic closing of the class is on CD, and increasing your skincare sales is on CD. So I thank you for listening to this, and I can't wait to celebrate your next best step with you.